Ding, ding. It is 9:59 p.m. on the west coast of the United States. It is 0459 GMT. It's almost 5 in the morning on Sunday in London. It is Saturday night in the United States. And this is the fast food, junk food, Extravaganza for the 22nd of August, 2015. I am Sebastian.
I'm SaraBelle.
And what do we have coming up this week, SaraBelle? We have fast food news. Both of us went to movies
this weekend, or last weekend, rather.
In the past week. Yeah, mine was actually Monday. But tell me, we'll talk about our movie experiences in a moment. The news stories that I'm going to bring in our news segment today. How fast can your fast food be? That is not the question. How fresh can your fast food be? We all know food can be fast, but how fresh will it be? Is the salt level dangerous for kids in some fast food? We will talk about that. Another healthy fast food place we're hearing about in the news. Is it just bullshit? Or is this, actually something that has food that is fast and also delicious and also healthy? Because that's three different things. Which race is most targeted by junk food ads? The problem of obesity in India. I think of India. I think of sometimes a lot of hungry people. I don't really.
Yeah, I don't think of obese people at all in India.
No, but there's an article in the news this week about that. I feel like the one I want to start with, though, is actually one of the ones I just said. Which race is most targeted by junk food advertising? What would you say if you had to guess, SaraBelle?
I don't imagine when I watch television, I don't really see any race being targeted. The only one that I kind of see as targeting a race is the Popeyes chicken, because they have a black host and most of the eaters are black, and it's in the South. But that's really the only commercial that I can think of that even has any kind of target audience.
Yeah, well, one of the differences is we're talking about junk food rather than fast food.
Mm-hmm.
Please tell your motorcycle riding boyfriend this is not the time.
The weather is slightly nice right now. It's probably in the upper 60s. So we've got the cat door open, so it makes the road noise kind of loud.
A little bit of circulation. The funny thing is we had a really crazy storm in Arizona tonight. We had 1.5 inches of rain in the rain gauge from what we got dumped on us today. Like 1.5 inches of rain in basically an hour. So that's
monsoon. Yeah.
Especially for southern Arizona. And now I have my window open actually right here, and I'm hearing the frogs. The frogs are making a lot of noise and are probably having a lot of sex right now so you're basically watching frog porn.
Yeah.
Right? Back to our survey. We'll talk about our movie experiences coming up, but the survey, this is, first of all, you said, you were saying fast food commercials. This is more junk food than fast food, first of all. That is the first difference between what you said and what it is. And the other thing is, I absolutely agree with your observation on Popeyes. I've always felt like there was something in my mouth. I don't know what that was. Something about the Popeyes commercials seems a little bit, I don't want to say racist, but definitely Southern to the point of almost making me uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I feel like it's definitely trying to hit the stereotype.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I can think of. That
I think, it may just be worth it, rather than tripping all over it ourselves. We could probably look at some of the commercials. But before we do that, let's get to the first news story I was going to say, which is the junk food ads on TV, according to the LA Times Science Now section, tend to target African-American and Latino youth. Let's find out how. I love that they're showing Cadbury Dairy Milk and Toblerone.
Toblerones, yeah.
That may be the wrong picture for the story, but maybe not. African-American kids and teens in the U.S. are more than twice as likely to see an advertisement for candy and soda on TV than their white counterparts. I guess it must be from the shows they watch. Healthier foods are often seen in television ads for the general population, like yogurt, and these same ads are unlikely to appear on TV channels targeting Latino and African-American viewers. I'm wondering, do they mean MTV? Like, what channels? Is it BET? Like, Do kids watch?
I'm not sure. I mean, I do watch my fair share of kids programming because I do like the stuff that's on the Discovery Hub, and I do like some Disney shows. And now that you've said yogurt, I definitely have seen plenty of yogurt commercials, and I would say that 95% of the children depicted in the yogurt commercials are going to be Anglo.
Interesting. Okay, so white people are in the yogurt commercials, according to our scientific SaraBelle here. Racial disparities in obesity rates continue as well. 47% of African Americans are obese, compared to 42% of Latinos and 32% of whites. So that's also weird. Like, how would you account for that? Black people eat worse than like Latino people?
I almost want to say that it is not just one thing contributing to those factors. If you look at the breakdown in reverse, you can almost see the socioeconomic. They say that white people make more money than the other races. So it could just be that the lower end of obesity may have something to do with the higher amount of income, because you cannot stop blaming the obesity problem just on the school lunches and everything, because you can go and buy a burger and feed your family with 10 burgers for $10 when you can only get a salad at a fast food place for $7.
Yes.
So the higher weight might be due to having less money and eating more affordable, which is usually fast food, which is worse for people.
And I think that you're really hitting on something there, because the cost of a healthy food versus the cost of junk food or fast food there's a big difference of that here. You feel like you know for a fact that the food at McDonald's is, at least some of it is cheaper and available for a very low price compared to a salad at McDonald's, as you say, or if you go to the grocery store and you make your own burger, you can probably make a burger for about the same price as a McDonald's burger, maybe slightly less. But if you get any of the organic foods, for instance, that's supposed to be more healthful, right? The organic food is supposed to be better for you. Well, that organic food is at least double in price, depending on exactly what you're buying. But
and when you say making a burger at home, we go to Costco and we buy the 20-pack of quarter-pound burgers like my dad had when we grilled, and you can get all the burger makings at the store, but you're dumping $25 to $30 at one shot to have multiple meals down the road, whereas right now you might only have $5 in your pocket versus the $30 to get the stuff to make multiple meals.
I see what you're saying. In other words, people are more likely to go to McDonald's rather than Costco because A, you have to have a card to get in, and that costs money, and B, you might only buy it 2 times a year, but still the amount of money you have at any one time is kind of a factor. That is also important. Many people of the lower socioeconomic statuses, regardless of race, live paycheck to paycheck. Sometimes not even that. Sometimes even they have to have supplemented benefits, kind of a thing. Let's go back and look at the article here, because I thought it was really interesting what they were saying, even if I don't know if I believe it. Here we go. The researchers determined food companies were marketing to Latino and African Americans if they advertised on Spanish language TV and if they aired on channels whose target audience was over 50% Black. In other words, researchers defined youth-targeted ads as those that ran on TV networks that children watch more than adults. So again, I guess we're talking Disney, I guess we're talking Nickelodeon, stuff like that. In general, ads for candy, sugary drinks, gum, and savory snacks like chips were more likely to target African American and Latino consumers, while ads for the healthier dairy, juice, fruits, waters, and vegetables were less likely to target those populations. The same company might be promoting unhealthy foods in the Hispanic community and promoting healthier foods in the general community, according to this one lady of the Salud America Latino Childhood Obesity Prevention Network. Okay, here's the quote. Over 2/3 of the Spanish TV ads directed to Latino children are really pushing fast food, sugary drinks, candy, snacks, Only 3% of the ads that these kids saw, the Latino kids saw, promoted healthier options. So again, you raised another point earlier that was a good point, though. That just assumes that, black people eat more, when it may be that there is also black people may have a higher propensity genetically to kind of retain the weight. The differences in the or Latino people for that matter also. The differences in obesity overall are startling to me. Like, I did not know there was that much of a difference. I did not know almost half of black Americans are obese. That I find really shocking. So anyway, if you have feedback, if you have something you'd like to contribute to the show, by the way, we are live at 10:10 p.m. on the West Coast. You can call 310-776-5869. That's the phone number on your screen. You can also text this number, and we'll read your message, assuming it's appropriate for broadcast, on the air at 310-776-5869. My Skype is here. Our tweeters are down here on the bottom of the screen as well. And right. So I wanted to make it more personal rather than just the news. I went to a movie this week, SaraBelle. What did you do for fun this week?
I went to a movie also this week. Well, last Saturday, 7 days from today.
You went to a classic movie, a very old, actually, a 40-year-old movie, and I went to a movie that just came out in the past month. What was the movie you went to see, SaraBelle?
Well, I went to see this movie, and it's called, a little movie, The Rocky Horror Picture Show. I'm not sure if you're familiar.
If you're not familiar, we can show some pages on the screen here from the Rocky Horror Picture Show, but essentially, it's not that difficult to. I mean, most people, I think, know the Rocky Horror Picture Show. And why you went with some old friends of ours who are actually also members of the cast of this movie from many, many years ago in Tucson, Arizona, childhood.
Yes, my early, formative years while my brain finished developing. Two of my former cast members live in Seattle, which is about a 3-hour drive from where I live in Portland. And I was kind of like sad cakes that they were getting together. And I'm like, I'm so close. I'm not that far away. Oh my God, is that Junie of Suck?
I have found a photograph of us. I think are you not even on stage here, or where were you?
I am all the way. Those are my arms, right next to Emma.
Arms on the far right. Arms. Here. Can you see my mouse pointer?
Yes, I can see your pointer.
Okay, so yeah, this is SaraBelle here on the right. Unfortunately, but I don't know if you can see me.
You mean center stage?
Center stage with the skull and crossbones outfit and the penis gun and man, I forgot what some of these. I forgot about some of this. This is a good picture. The year here would have been the year 2000, if I remember right. So this is
2000.
We have a bunch of people here who are friends of ours, and this girl who is next. Here are your arms. This girl next to you is one of the friends you were hanging out with.
Yes. Emma, and she, besides hair color, is almost the same as she was 15 years ago, honestly.
Let's see. We have some other photos here as well. Here's Elliot. Here's Anthony on the left. Here's Amber. Here's.
I think that's me on the far left.
Yeah, here's me with kind of my Brad glasses on, overacting, as you can see here. I'm in the white shirt with the long hair. For people who don't know. I can't believe all these pictures. Look at all these pictures here. There's Kate and Anthony. I mean, some of these are very good kind of pictures that I never really remember having seen before.
Yeah, there's me and Kate at the end. So.
And here's an old picture of me. This would go back to 1995, before I was ever even in college. Oh, good Lord God.
There's Bossa Nova there.
Bossa Nova number. This is our friend Jim. Here is Ashley and Amber here. Here is Emma again. And there is yours truly over here in the white t-shirt. So, SaraBelle, are there seriously this many pictures of us on the internet? Holy shit.
Apparently. We were trying to find some old News 69 clips, but we just couldn't. And it's like,
Oh, really? That's a shame. Let's see here. I just want to know if I type in SaraBelle next to a jump to the left, will we see any pictures
Nope,
of us?
not me.
Really? I thought for sure you were in a lot of those damn photo shoots we were always doing. Maybe if you just
No.
type in like, Rocky Horror Sebastian. Although what that results in oftentimes is Sebastian Bach, because he played Riff Raff on
Right, he did.
on stage in New York. But let's see, maybe my last name, Rocky Horror Sebastian Kuntz. Is there anything? No, thank God. I'm happy that although if you type in a jump to the left, it's possible we will see. Oh, good Lord God. Yes. Well, there's all these pictures of me. How weird. Like, none of those are actual Rocky Horror pictures of me. These are radio photos. Here is my old radio archives. Here's us, you and me and Patrick hanging around last December, Christmas time.
Yeah.
Weird. Okay. So tell me about your experience going back to the Rocky Horror Picture Show. When is the last time you went?
The last time I went was here in Portland, probably shortly after I moved, so like 2010, 2011. And
It's been years since you've been to see the Rocky
Horror. Years, yeah. The show never really changes. We used to do the pre-show, which was, introduction to the movie and everything. And I thought that it was interesting that both the Portland cast and the Seattle cast had the same little pre-show opener, which was the Muppets. The Muppet one. That's the beginning of their Muppet show. Do you remember that?
The Muppet Show. I don't remember a Muppet.
At the Muppet Show tonight.
Yeah. Okay. So they just kind of have a version of that.
Well, yeah. I mean, both casts played that song and they just did a hand clapping thing, and I was like, this is really boring.
Well, it's always hard. It's always hard as a performer who does a show, I think, to go see the same show done by other people, because it never really, I think, lives up to what you think you did, or I actually watch some other Rocky Horror Picture Shows and I go, wow, that was awesome. But there are just as many who I go to see, and it's not just bitchiness. It's honestly less good than the product we used to do as far as entertainment went. Anyway, all of this blah, blah, blah. The point is they're still doing the Rocky Horror Picture Show live in theaters 40 years later. And when you said the show never changes, I thought that was remarkable, because I actually feel like the show is never really the same from week to week. I don't care. I mean, there's a lot. I guess there's some things that are the same, but I feel like part of the beauty of it was the dynamic. Like, it was different in many ways every single time.
I think I was just underwhelmed by all the cast that I've seen up here, because I find myself watching the movie rather than watching the cast because they're so underwhelming. Now, I did see when I first came up here the cast that Kate was in, and it was hey, we haven't done Rocky in 2 years, let's get together and run a place and do Rocky, and they're all really amazing former performers. So I was like, these people are great. But the one that has the bi-monthly show, I was just kind of like, all right, I'm not going to check Facebook, but I'm kind of bored.
I will say this. I don't think I want to, I wasn't at the show. Okay, answer me this question, SaraBelle. Will Kate and Emma say the same thing? Like, if I go ask them, they'll probably say something similar, or will one of them...
Something similar. We talked about how underwhelming the Frank was, and their Frank was the female, and Kate was, if you're a female and you're doing Frank, you really have to go out there and perform, because you're a female and male part. You really have to go above and beyond, and she just wasn't.
Yeah, because something about a man dressing as a female in a different gender role kind of a thing is, I guess shocking is the word I will say, even though that's not really that shocking anymore. But like the intention of the movie, the feeling that was at the time the movie came out kind of a thing was, it's like, oh, okay, wink, wink. There's a man dressed as a woman here, and that's something. To be a woman playing a man dressed as a woman changes the game. Like that's a whole different thing. And it must be, I don't know what it's like. I have been frank on stage exactly once in my life. That is once too many. I really don't think that there are photos online of that, and it's probably
was that our Cast in the Hat show, or was that when everyone was in New York?
It was not in New York. I was never a Frank on stage in New York. Are you kidding? Do you have any idea?
No, I meant that I know that there was a show that everyone was in New York, and people who didn't normally perform in town got to perform.
Oh, well, there was, I mean, they did kind of a Rocky Horror round robin. I mean, this is not interesting for the fast food junk food viewers, but they did kind of a round robin, and different people, you know, different people from different cities around the world got to perform on kind of a ensemble, a grand ensemble round robin thing. So, I mean, there was that, but I certainly was never Frank in that. I was just happy enough to be in New York. We're talking about the year 1998 for viewers who want to know what the fuck we're talking about. And anyway, so you went to Rocky Horror. You were underwhelmed. What food did you eat?
Actually, I didn't have any food, but the popcorn smelled so good. And I really think that they did have the same, what is it, coconut oil that ours used to have. I know that our theater didn't have the normal movie theater butter. They had another one that was just really good.
The more traditional, kind of less healthy.
Right.
You know, it's full of saturated fat kind of a thing. I don't know if it's coconut oil. It might be the coconut oil, because coconut oil is something else. I've had food 2 or 3 different times in the past month that I'm like, oh my God, this is delicious. What is this? What is in here? What is it? What am I detecting? What is this cooked with? And it invariably the answer is like coconut oil, or they have like a coconut butter that you can get, and it's supposed to be pretty good for you, I thought. But anyway, you went to the Rocky Horror Picture Show. I went to Mission Impossible Rogue Nation on Monday. Dun, 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 dun. And more importantly than the Mission Impossible movie, which did not bowl me over, it was not bad, but it was not good. It was entertaining for the most part. But the headline was this VIP movie theater. Have you been, SaraBelle, to a VIP movie theater?
I have been to VIP movie theaters up here in the Pacific Northwest. I never got to go to one in Tucson.
Yes, it's a relatively new thing for Tucson. I mean, it's a relatively new thing for the United States, if you really want to know the truth. They've been in Mexico for years and years and years, and I went when I was in Mexico last year only to see movies in VIP theaters. Like once I went on a date to a VIP theater with this one guy. I won't say who it is, but the thing is, I went to this VIP movie theater. It is the perfect date experience because there is like big leather recliners. In the Mexican theaters, you could actually put the center armrest up so you could kind of snuggle together in big leather recliners. They could have blankets if you wanted blankets. They have a silent paging button that brings a waiter to your seat and will take your order. And it can be alcoholic drinks, it can be dinner, it can be lunch, it can be popcorn of any number of gourmet varieties. I had cheesy white cheddar popcorn, which was spectacular. And is the reason probably I didn't eat so much of my lunch. They did fuck up. I did order curly fries and they brought me pineapple.
What?
But I was actually okay with that, and I ended up just fucking eating the pineapple because by the time it got there, like, oh, that looks pretty good, and I just ate all the fucking pineapple. I probably could have complained, but I just didn't feel like it. But I gotta say, VIP movie theater thing is badass. Like, I forget how much I enjoy. And frankly, there's a lot to not enjoy when it comes to the old-fashioned movie experience now that there's gunmen going into theaters every 6 to 12
Right.
Probably not really every 6 to 12 months, but there have been a number of high-profile movie theater shootings in the past couple of years, and I feel like, you know what? That's not worth it unless you go to a truly different experience like a movie theater. That is a VIP cinema.
Right. We have a couple of different kinds up here in Portland. It's called Cinetopia, and they have a wine bar where you can go and have a fancy 4-star meal, and they have the grand auditoriums where they will have waiters come. Now, they stop the service once the movie starts. Then at Cinetopia, the photos you see in the top row, so the top two photos are their grand auditorium. The middle one is their movie parlor. Now, I really like the movie parlor. That's it. Is because it actually has those couches, they swivel, there are some private booths in the back row, there are just normal seats, and then in the front row there are like lay down areas.
Like here. I see what you're talking about. Down here in the very front row, there is actually not only the screen, there's actually TVs on the sides here displaying the movie as well.
No, those actually show movie posters.
Oh, I see.
They'll shut off once the movie starts. They also, with the movie parlor...
Does it get dark?
Oh, yeah. Everything shuts off. All the lights go away. But they do have a fireplace.
I see that.
And yeah, I mean, the movie parlor is more intimate. I think it's only like 15 or 20 seats.
And it's recommended, you think?
Oh, yeah, it's definitely worth it if you can get the Groupon coupons for it, because I want to say the movie parlor is $17 versus the normal, which is like $10.
Yeah, I believe it. And
then there was another one that was in Seattle that I went to that was near our friend Kate's house. And the waiters were on point. Like, they were there. Every time I put my glass down, I got a refill of soda. I'm like, what, the Smurf? And I think the soda was free and the popcorn was free. It was all included in the ticket. And I was like, holy crap, that's cool.
Yeah, and I really liked it. The one in Mexico was called Cinepolis VIP, and it's very similar. We didn't have quite the one that they have in Portland, but as you see, they're kind of pairs of chairs where the center armrest goes up, which is it's the very nice thing if you want to be on a date and you want to snuggle or kind of, get a little closer.
I would say the one thing about the movie parlor is they are grouped in sets of 2. So if 3 people want to go, it's a little bit more awkward,
Oh, yeah, unless you lay in the lay-down areas and you all just kind of pile on top of each other, that kind of a thing. So this is the fast food, junk food extravaganza. We're going to look at some news stories here because I've been amazed at all of the different news stories that have actually been in the news when it comes to fast food and junk food. For instance, is the salt level dangerous, SaraBelle?
I am guessing it is because that's what the article says.
Yes, well, that's true. It's the salt levels in fast food are dangerously high for kids. So salt in McDonald's chicken nugget meals. The maximum daily salt intake recommended for kids from 4 to 6 is 3 grams. And in Turkey, look how much different it is in Turkey. It's actually, in the USA, it's a third of the daily maximum intake. But in Turkey, it's more than half. It's like 3/4 to, it's like almost all your daily salt.
Almost your entire day's
in one meal. Let's see here. So research by the World Action on Salt and Health. So again, this is like the people who are anti-salt looking for this, and I'm not surprised they found it. But I suppose those are really high if you're in Turkey. That is why it is vitally important that children do not get used to the taste of salt. The more salt you eat as a child, the more likely you are to have serious health issues in later life. I mean, I get that it's linked to high blood pressure, heart disease, strokes, and obesity, but I feel like that's, I don't know. I mean, I feel like this is a little bit overblown. And of course, the people who are anti-salt find this. Like, are we going to find it if we do an independent scientific study? Is this actually true?
Right.
And I guess you can ask that about every single poll and every single bit of, scientific research kind of a thing in the world. So I don't know. But I feel like
what you said is that if they're looking for it, they'll find it.
Yeah. Now, I mean, it doesn't mean it's not true. I'm not saying it's not true. But I feel like really the anti-salt people think there's too much salt. Surprise, surprise. What's the next big news? That the anti-smoking people are against tobacco? I mean, this is not shocking news. Whatever. All right. Fresh ingredients in fast food makes a difference or not, SaraBelle?
I think it makes a slight difference. It just kind of depends on which ingredient you're talking about.
Okay, well, let's look at this. Wendy's 3-year quest for blackberries, and not the phones either. It'll have taken 3 years and a search involving more than 30 growers to produce enough blackberries for a salad it plans to offer next summer. I didn't know there was such a blackberry shortage, or I don't know, maybe they need 2 million pounds of blackberries to embellish a seasonal salad at all of the Wendy's restaurants. Okay, consumers rank the addition of more produce as the most important dietary change they were making. Are you hearing me?
I am hearing you.
Okay, good. It seems like my computer was frozen here for a second. Okay. The most important dietary change consumers are making is consuming more produce, consuming less salt, fat, and sugar. Surprise, surprise. And again, I feel like, okay, these small places like Life Kitchen restaurants and Chopped Creative Salad I've never heard of. Have you?
Chopped is a lot like sweet tomatoes.
Sweet tomatoes. Okay, that's actually, is that still around?
Yeah, it's still around.
I think they're gone. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't remember seeing that in a while, but they say, the restaurants that prepare fresh food. What are they calling fresh food? That means like Chipotle killed the pig there in the restaurant?
I'm not sure if it's fresh, like when we were talking to the guy at In-N-Out, that they don't even have a freezer. Maybe that's what they mean by fresh.
So never frozen. Okay, well that could well be. I don't know, but let's continue looking at this here. The number of U.S. fast casual restaurants has jumped 41% to nearly 23,000. The number of traditional fast food places has grown 5%. So they're growing. It's just much slower growth. And they're trying to shake their image as purveyors of processed food. McDonald's is testing breakfast bowls and salads made with kale. Gag me with a fucking spork. Advertising that Egg McMuffins are made with freshly cracked eggs. Now that I always did like, and I feel like probably for the most part, most people seem to like that about Egg McMuffins versus other egg products you get at fast food.
Right.
The Egg McMuffin was an egg a minute ago, just like the In-N-Out fries were potatoes a minute ago. Chick-fil-A has added items it says are made with fresh, locally sourced produce, such as a chicken wrap with red cabbage and carrots. That sounds awful. I don't like cabbage, though. The upstarts aren't making it easy. Chipotle has launched a marketing campaign called Friend or Foe to highlight the preservatives. I think we've talked about that on this show.
Yes, I actually used my Friend or Foe coupon this last week.
Oh, fantastic. Very good. And what did you get?
I got a steak burrito, and because it was a Friend or Foe for the burrito, not for the bowl, because normally I will get the bowl. And the friend I went with had never eaten at Chipotle, and he's kind of a parrot. He will repeat catchphrases and he'll repeat things. And there was a line on South Park that was, if you have the choice between garbage and Chipotle, choose Chipotle. And I was like, have you ever eaten at Chipotle? He's like, no, but it's funny. I'm like, oh, God. So went to Chipotle, and 2 burritos with 1 free and a drink was like $10. And he's like, $10 for a burrito and a drink? We could just go to Taco Bell and get 10 burritos. And after we ate, I was like, how do you feel? And he's like, oh, that was good. I'm like, yeah, and if you would have eaten 10 burritos at Taco Bell, how would you feel? He's like, oh.
Well,
So,
I suppose. I mean, I'm kind of on the side of your friend, quite frankly. Like, I mean, I don't really think the food at Taco Bell is that much worse than Chipotle. If you eat 10 burritos from anywhere, you're gonna feel like shit.
Oh, yeah.
So let's not go crazy about this, I feel like.
But I think quality of the burrito at Chipotle is going to be, it's a $7-8 burrito versus the 99-cent one at Taco Bell. The quality is going to be completely different because you're paying for more.
I don't think that's necessarily true. I actually don't necessarily think that. I mean, Chipotle stuff is good. I don't think Chipotle burritos are better than Taco Bell burritos. I'm here to tell you. I mean, I don't think the quality is... Now, I mean, statistically, probably they are, but I don't think that's necessarily true. Like, I don't think it is absolutely a God-given fact that you pay $7, it's going to be better. Like, that's not necessarily the case. It may all be in the packaging. It may all be in the advertising, like Chipotle's gotten a lot of good press from this thing about, sustainable pork. And
right. Well, and I think also comparing a $7 burrito with a Taco Bell burrito isn't really the same also because they're smaller. They're more convenient and they usually have... The Taco Bell ones are smaller. They're even smaller than, Viva Burrito and Los Betos. They're not on that same level. I can see what your friend is saying coming from the standpoint that, wait a second, so we paid for one burrito and got 2 drinks and it's $10? Right.
Like, that sounds kind of bullshit, Like, how much would it have been without the coupon? Probably closer to 20.
Oh yeah, because it's a freaking expensive burrito.
And if you go to a place like Taco Bell and you spend $20, the amount of food you're going to get is gargantuan.
Vastly different. Yeah, that's the one thing that when we hang out, we do go to the cheaper places because generally we're poor, and it's just that kind of we can get as much as possible for the amount of money that we have. So that's why you go.
But I think there's another reason to go to Taco Bell, and that it's actually not shit like people say it is. And I know that you said the dessert was disappointing, and that bothered me a little bit.
Have you tried it yet? Have you had a chance?
I have not been to Taco Bell, and I've actually been working so goddamn hard with this new job that I haven't even really been eating outside the house. I haven't had really any fast food. The only time I left the house this week was to go to the movies on Monday, and then I went to the store also, and then I had Panda Express tonight, so a little bit of deliciousness there, and I will have it for lunch again tomorrow. Okay, let's look at other news here in the news week that it has been for fast food and junk food. But by the way, we covered this on our show in January, right?
Yeah, the sustainable pork.
Dale suffered in part in its decision in January to pull the carnitas topping after discovering that a pork supplier didn't meet its animal welfare standards. They struggled to find another supplier. The carnitas topping will not be back nationwide until early in the fourth quarter. So that's actually coming up. In a couple of months, you will again be able to get carnitas at Chipotle. Do you remember the Wendy's salad bar?
No, I don't think that I'm old enough to remember the Wendy's salad bar.
Oh, wow. Okay. Interesting. Way to make me feel old because...
Well, and the thing is, my family, I don't think I ate at Wendy's until I was an independent driver and I could make my own choices.
I do remember you saying that. Wendy's installed salad bars in some restaurants in '79, but the toppings have grown from simple tomatoes and croutons to include strawberries, blueberries, almonds, and edamame. I like the almonds and the edamame, but I do not care about strawberries or blueberries on my fucking salad. I do not mix fruits and vegetables. Like, I like them both, but they considered adding raspberries, but abandoned the idea because the fruit would have become too mushy by the time it made it to a salad.
Yeah.
Blackberries, I guess, do not become mushy or something.
Not as mushy as strawberries or as raspberries.
And I think I like that Bob Wright has said, he's the guy, the chief operations guy at Wendy's. He says there's a lot of education about food and food quality from cooking shows. Do you think that's true?
I think so. Now they're definitely aiming them more towards the healthful stuff. PDT Sun, and I forget which one it is, has a cooking show that's called Not My Mama's Meals, which is basically taking PDT butter recipes and making them more healthful.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
And he
I
tries to
actually like,
educate people on why you should use this instead of butter, or coconut
yeah.
oil versus butter.
Interesting, interesting, interesting. So, and the other thing I noticed, and let's go back to our discussion about the socioeconomic status factor. If you get only the cheapest of the cable, you can get cable packages in multiple tiers. If
Hmm.
you get only, even with the most cheap cable thing, somehow always there is the Food Network. Am I wrong about that?
I think because we just upgraded our cable recently, and I think we upgraded it to get the Food Network. No,
No, it was the kids back.
to get the kids show. Okay, never mind. Yeah, so the basic one that we had the Food Network, and I remember,
It had the Food Network before. I always
yeah,
wondered
and
about
then
that because these are the things I think of that really are kind of weird for me. And it's like, okay, if you get the cheap, sometimes if you move into an apartment, like you plug in your TV and the first 13 channels are already turned on, you know what I'm saying? Like you can
right,
actually get channels right away without any money. I feel like the channels that you could get were C-SPAN, you can watch Congress,
right,
QVC, you can watch advertising on QVC and the Home Shopping Network. Maybe a couple of local TV stations with the NBC, CBS, that kind of thing, and maybe a couple of Spanish-speaking ones. And then somehow always was in there also the Food Network.
yeah,
Like if you wanted CNN or Disney or any of the any good channels, you had to pay a little more.
right.
Sometimes not that much more, but I feel like the Food Network was always free, and I wonder if there's going to be an effect of that. Like me and my stoner brain thinking, like what if the whole world kind of became a little bit higher class food wise because one of the free channels that you could always watch no matter how little money you had was the fucking Food Network. Like
right,
I don't know.
yeah.
I don't know. Me and my stoner imagination. Okay, you're watching the fast food junk food extravaganza. We're having a good time here talking about this. What about this? Healthy fast food. Oh gosh, I cannot do that story because I have not. Let's see here. Maybe I can do. Well, we were talking about it before. Let's talk about this one. The India obesity problem. Now, we've talked at the beginning of the show how you don't think India when you think obesity.
I definitely don't think India or obesity in India. I think of more healthful foods and more sauces, because I thought they're mostly a vegetarian lifestyle, but I'm not sure.
Well, I mean, I know they eat, chicken, stuff like that. They don't eat beef, probably, but I like this. This is the story about a committee from the Ministry of Women and Child Development in India recommended vendors be banned from selling junk food to children within 200 meters of a school. 2 football fields back to back. That's kind of far. And I mean, imagine, I remember, I know it's not the same being a student today that it was when I was a kid or when you were a kid, but
Right.
one of the things about being after school was going to the nearby like Quick Mart or something and getting a big soda and maybe a Bear Claw or some kind of junk food, candy, something, right, after school.
Right, yeah.
And I know that's bad, and but hey, I'm not exactly suffering from it today. So I don't know. I feel like part of me makes me sad in a way, I guess, that they will be they're banning, that kind of food 2
Right.
football fields away from a school. Like that is a fair distance. Anyway, such concerns are well founded. Being overweight in India was seen as a sign that your family was prosperous traditionally.
Right, yeah.
But as the economy grows, they've developed a taste for Western-style food. In July, a 225-year-old traditional sweet shop was forced to shut down as the taste for chocolate outstrips the demand for time-honored treats. So the traditional candies in India are seeing dropping consumption. 1 in 5 Indians is obese, so that's 20%. Compared to, what did we see? Like a third of white people in the U.S. and almost half the black people in the US.
Like 47%, yeah.
Yeah, and as many, here's the thing. Overall in India, 1 in 5 Indians is obese. But if you look at the cities, 60%. So it triples. The people who live in cities are like 3 times more likely to be obese compared to people who live, far away. And I guess that makes sense, but holy shit, that difference really strikes me. Strikes me.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely the correlation between easy access in the cities and less manual labor having to be done in the cities.
And this is the other thing I think is interesting. They say the committee recommended shops be prohibited from selling unhealthy items to kids who are wearing uniforms. It's easy to identify students because nearly all primary and secondary institutions require school-specific uniforms.
Right.
It would include restaurants and shops as well as food carts that can be pushed around. And the other thing I think of when I think of this, India and Mexico are very different countries, but food carts in Mexico were very remarkable. Like, this is the 21st century, right? But there's a guy with a cart down Mexico selling corn or selling bananas or, mangoes or coconuts or something like that. Like, it's very, very old school. And in a way, it's very cool. Like, it's very different from the United States, You do not see guys in the USA going down the street with a little push cart saying, tortillas, or...
Right. I mean, I think the duros, the fried bits, were probably the worst out of everything.
Tell me again, what are they?
The duros, kind of like pork rinds, kind of.
Oh, okay, pork rinds. Yeah. I don't know the term duros, but for instance, if we go back to Google Images here and look up pictures of esquites. Okay, here is esquites. This is a snack. Now, it's mostly corn, so you'd think it would be healthy, but oh no. No. They serve it to you in a little cup. I think usually a styrofoam cup like you see here, and it's the shaved corn in a soup of like cream.
Right, and mayonnaise.
Mayonnaise, maybe some sour cream. I think I like it's all the white sauce things. Like, there's cheese and milk and cream and sour cream and everything but cottage cheese in there because cottage cheese would be gross. And then they add some lemon or some lime. It is goddamn spectacular. Like, it is such a good snack. And I'd never heard of it before. Oh, wait, I switched it back to me, and I was going to show there actually is a photo of not just the esquites, but the cart.
Uh-huh.
I want to show you the cart here. This is a picture of the esquites place like you see in Mexico.
Yeah.
And it is the ricos elotes esquites. Elote is corn. And if you just type in elote, it is kind of the same thing on a corn on the cob kind of a thing. Elotes, yeah. Corn on the cob.
Yeah.
With peas and chili powder and lemon and just deliciousness. Like, it is so fucking good. I don't know. I mean, I feel like in India, are they not entitled to their own culture? I guess their own culture is choosing American-style junk food, though. So maybe that's a stupid thing to even argue about, I guess, to some degree. Like, who gives a fuck if it's the Indians choosing it themselves? Yes, but it's bad for their health. Well, anyway, now the students cannot buy it. It's kind of, I feel like this is kind of one of those moves, like the kids will go home, change clothes, and go back to the stores. Well, that's what I would do.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, or have, kind of like the young kids outside the 7-Eleven on a Saturday night. Hey, mister, can I give you $5 and you can buy me some wine cooler? It'll be the same kind of thing.
I suppose, like I've seen stories of certain, I think, like Asian islands, like Indonesia or Micronesia, or these like the certain islands where tobacco is kind of freely available to kids of any age, like even right around the corner from their school, kind of a thing. And this is kind of the modern version of that for the first world. Kind of like now you can't buy anything unhealthy, quote unquote unhealthy, if you are within such and such range of a school, and you are you are banned. Of course, that's in India. I don't think we have to worry about that here. Well, we may well have to worry about that here. That may well be something that happens in the USA.
There's those parts of California. I want to say it was Anaheim or just south of Anaheim that the city ordinance was that the existing fast food restaurants could stay, but no new fast food restaurants could be built. And they were thinking that the rate of obesity would go down. However, it increased because it's, you know, a lot of people, when they say, you can't have this, they're like, F you, I'm going to have it anyway.
Yeah.
You know?
As the prohibition kind of creates this kind of rebound effect, right? Like we're suddenly, where it might not have gone up if nobody did anything, but now that somebody is trying to stamp out something, you see an increase in the behavior. Yeah, I think that has happened before. The other funny thing, and there is junk food and stuff in this story. Maybe we'll finish with this tonight, because have you ever, you know what, you've actually used the word correlation in this very show, so I know you know what a correlation is, right? Let's talk about false correlations. I want to see, there's been, here we go. Hilarious graphs reveal how statistics can create false correlations, essentially. Let me switch over to this article. This is from the UK Daily Mail, but there's actually a number of graphs here that are really funny to look at. So we're going to look at a couple of these. If only the story will load. Here we go. So, SaraBelle, does sour cream cause bike accidents?
No. I would say that sour cream should not cause bike accidents unless there is like a dairy truck that's been overturned.
Yes, I got you. Or some kind of sour cream spill. Well, if you see the graph here, sales of sour cream correlates with deaths from motorcycle accidents. Now, it's a completely sort of coincidence that the amount of sour cream goes up when the number of motorcycle accidents goes up, and vice versa. But it's just, I think that's goddamn hilarious, right? Like, here we go. The best spurious correlations. Here we go. The consumption of sour cream and the number of motorcycle riders killed. The number of people who tripped over their own 2 feet and died is correlated with civil engineering doctorates. So when more people graduate with a doctorate in civil engineering, more people also die from tripping over their own feet. How much beef is bought in the U.S. compares to the number of deaths caused by lightning. When lightning deaths go up, we eat beef in this country, apparently. The number of films Nicolas Cage has starred in correlates to the number of people who died in the swimming pool. And last but not least, the amount of cheese purchased is related to, if you look at the graph, of the revenue generated by golf courses. So when people go golfing, they eat cheese.
Now, I want to say that the most common correlation that I have heard is that ice cream causes polio. And now it's an old one that I've heard it used a number of times, saying that the amount of popularity in ice cream was the same as polio, you know, before the vaccine started. And I definitely remember someone I might have even been in college, saying that this is how, you know, correlation should not be used, because there's no contributing factor either way. It just happens that they're the same.
Yeah. Anyone can plainly tell, this guy says, that there is not a connection between margarine and marriage. But some of these are very closely correlated. The people who died falling out of a wheelchair correlates with the cost of potato chips. So in 2000, we had only 175 deaths. And the chips were less than $3.50 a pound. But in the year 2004, 4 years later, the number of deaths almost doubled, and so did the price of potato chips. Oh my God, SaraBelle. Oh my God. A photo of Nicolas Cage, and these are the graphs I like, the ones that have ups and downs a lot, that are just kind of go up and down, they fluctuate.
Right, together.
We'll do it together. Here's the number of films Nicolas Cage was in. Sometimes it was 2, sometimes it was 3. I don't know how they got 2.5 films. When half of a film, I don't understand. But yeah, it goes with the number of people who drowned in a swimming pool. Amazing. Sales of eggs in the U.S. correlates with drivers killed in car accidents.
Man.
Okay. Non-collision transport accident, whatever the fuck that is. Anyway, I think that's very funny, don't you?
Yeah, it's just always amusing what people can kind of come up with. But it really does remind me of that ice cream causing polio sort of thing.
Yes, it's actually now a book. I'm going to go ahead and plug this. TylerVigan.com. If you like seeing this, you can actually see U.S. spending on space and science correlates with suicide by hanging, strangling, and suffocation. So spending on space science and technology is going up. So are suicides by hanging. Per capita cheese. The number of, I like this one. Per capita cheese consumption correlates with the number of people who died by doing what, SaraBelle?
Well, they died while tangled in their bed sheets.
Exactly. They died by becoming, somehow the bed sheets tangled them up and they died. And
the fact that there's like almost 800 deaths from that happening
in 1 year.
In 2009.
Yes. In a single year, more than 700 people died. 717 people died by getting tangled up in their bed sheets. That's fucking terrifying. More than the relation with the cheese. The divorce rate in Maine is going down. What else is going down? Per capita consumption
of margarine.
Margarine. I like this one. The age of Miss America correlates with murders by steam, hot vapors, and hot objects.
Wow.
I mean,
now 2009 though, they weren't very,
Yeah, that's actually the one where we finally see a divergence there. But yeah, like all the other times, it seems to be very closely related. Sometimes spot on. Like, I mean, and the fact that there are 7 murders by steam.
Or hot objects. I mean, it could be a hot fire poker or something.
I mean, yes, but think about what you just said. It could be a hot fire poker. It's a fucking hot fire poker. My God.
Now, did you see the one story that I sent you on Facebook?
Yes, but see if you can talk about it for a second while I pull it up, because I did not.
It was the story that we had originally covered a couple of weeks ago about the San Francisco guy who was taking engagement-like photos with his burrito.
Remember, we looked at those photos.
Yes. McDonald's, pretty sure that their ad campaign is directly mimicking this guy's art.
Okay, interesting. You know what? I think I've even seen maybe an ad. Is it in this country?
Yeah, it's the U.S. I can send you the BuzzFeed article if you don't have it.
You know what? Yes, because for some reason Facebook is not loading at all, so I don't know if I can receive it over Facebook or not.
Actually, I can go ahead and probably just share it because I have it up on my screen.
Do it. Share it on your screen and then say present to everyone, and everyone can see.
Yes. That one. Start screen share. Okay. Do you see here our artist with the engagement-like photo there in San Francisco?
I do see the artist, yes.
So this is the new McDonald's campaign. And it's another man, and he is basically copying the photos that our artist had done. Waiting for it to load. Of course, it's not loading now. And it was another guy who was looking at his McDonald's food the same way that our artist was.
Keep scrolling down. I want to kind of keep seeing.
Yeah, I reloaded it because it was not coming up.
Isn't it
because when I looked at it earlier?
Yeah, I think it's amazing how fast websites will load when we're not on the air. Then suddenly we're on the air and nothing will work. And it seems to be advertising.
Oh, there we go. All right, so some of them are definitely remarkably similar. The grass photo and the sunglasses.
Yeah.
You see that there, how they're just that kind of dreamy look. The behind a tree kind of sort of thing going on there. Now, the McDonald's ad is doing one that was kind of that whole, he stole my heart, so I'm stealing her last name. This one was, we stole her heart, so I'm stealing the last fry. And this was not here when I looked at the other day. McDonald's.
How about this update? Yes, I was just reading that. This shouldn't have happened, and with our agency partner, we're working to find out how it did. We're reaching out to David Sikorsky and Christina Brakevsky and and we're going to find out how that's amazing. So now they're
Yeah.
apologizing. Like clearly somebody at a marketing agency saw those pictures and was like, well, we could do that with McDonald's food. Let's do it today, you know, and get a model.
Yeah.
And they got out there and did it. And like, you know, nobody at McDonald's corporate probably even knew. And then
and the thing is, a lot of the times the fast food companies will hire other companies to do their marketing and everything. So McDonald's, as the McDonald's shell, probably had no idea that this company was ripping off the artist from San Francisco.
I mean, probably until somebody called it to their attention. Then somebody at McDonald's corporate is like, oh, fuck. You know, like, God damn it. Why do we hire these companies to do our marketing and then they just go rip off whatever's trending on Twitter? Like, that's, I mean, not only is that kind of probably potentially actionable and against the law and a copyright violation and all that stuff, but I feel like that's a shitty marketing group. Like, that is a lazy ass, weak sauce piece of bullshit. Like, I mean, for a marketing company to even, you know, but not even thinking about the copyright implications for a second, just thinking about, hey, we need to come up with a marketing idea for McDonald's. What should we do? And there's a pitch meeting, you know, there's a meeting with people around a conference table, or maybe some people on a Skype TV up on this, you know, wall or something. And they're discussing and they're saying, okay, how do we market this? And some intern or something happens to have his phone on Twitter, and the executive walks past him and sees the Twitter feeds of this guy with his burrito, the original photos, and it's like, what is that? He says, oh, a guy took pictures with his photo, and he's like, that's what we're doing. That's our concept. Like, that is a lazy, do you know what I'm saying? That's lazy.
I also have this idea, you know, they're sitting around the big oval table, and you've got a bunch of 40 and 50 and 60-year-old executives, and then you have the 30-year-old guy who's like, I have this idea. Let's make it like engagement photos, and not even sharing the fact that it was already done a certain way. I can
I totally see that. Exactly. Or potentially a twist on your idea is the guy says, oh, you know, look, many people are doing it. Here are some photos from Twitter.
Right. Maybe not even the first original photo set, because I know that I've seen, after we did that story, I kind of looked around Twitter, and there were other people mimicking it with their Starbucks, you know.
No doubt, right? Absolutely. But I feel like for McDonald's to have ripped that off is, I mean, that is weak sauce for McDonald's, and they should be ashamed that they hired that PR firm, and I bet that PR firm is like, I mean...
they'll probably lose their contract and not be able to get other work, and you know.
I hope so. I hope that happens. But again, do you know the comedian, I guess more film director, Kevin Smith?
Oh, of course, yeah.
He does a thing. I believe it was on DVD. It was called I forget what it was called, but it was a Q&A, a question and answer session with Kevin Smith. Just literally him on stage answering questions from students about the making of Clerks, the making of Dogma, all of his good stories about being in Hollywood as a writer. Many people didn't know how many years he spent as a writer. He has this term. It's about Hollywood, but I feel like this is probably true in the marketing world and the corporate CEO world as well. The term is this: you just kind of fail upward. I have a feeling these people who did this, you know, who did this kind of perversion of marketing and theft of intellectual property on the internet, blah, 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 blah. I have a feeling those people will probably not get in trouble, probably not lose their job, and will probably be on to something even bigger and even richer next time. Like, I feel like those fuckers often get away with it. And I don't know, that's probably a very jaded attitude to be ending the show on, but I can't. How do you feel, my dear? Do you feel we've covered all the fast food and junk food news of the week?
I think we have gone through all the news of the week. I don't think there's anything else that I sent you that wasn't already kind of touched on or anything new.
Well, here's the thing. I'm going to go ahead and try and force myself into... there's been something I have been putting off, SaraBelle. And what I've been putting off is been buying a train ticket to go to a wedding in October for our friend that we've mentioned earlier in the show. Now, I have a job now, and it's actually, I'm making some money, but I've been scared to buy that ticket for no good reason. I'm telling you right now, I'm committing to being there. I'm going to be at the wedding, and we are going to do a show or multiple shows maybe in the old style, right? 15 minute soundbite YouTube style. And it'll be grand. So we're going to go to Voodoo Donuts in Portland.
Mm-hmm.
Where else
I will take you to Salt and Straw, which is a gourmet kind of ice cream place that I think their most famous ice cream is their black cherry and bone marrow ice cream.
Okay, I'm already disgusted, so we can never go there.
Maybe we won't go there.
Okay.
But yeah, that would be great. Especially if we spend a night at the wedding, we could go up to Pike's Market in Seattle.
I think that's happening too. So I mean, there's no reason not to spend one night up there. I know it's only a 2-hour drive, but it's like, come on, how often I've never been to Seattle or Tacoma or wherever the fuck it is. And I am dying to take the train up there and back. So I've now committed to it for the internet audience. And by the way, the internet audience should not miss this, because if you haven't seen the 15-minute, sort of the former version of the show that we did when we were in the same city, it's really much better than this show that we kind of do every Saturday night on the Google Hangouts. Like, it's actually really good, and we're there together and we talk about things and we review fast food. We went and reviewed the Buttery Jack burger from Jack in the Box when it was brand new. And
Emma's fiance says that their favorite episode is our Sonic episode.
So we did do the Sonic episode. Okay, I'm glad to know. I was worried the video editing computer took a shit. And when the video editing computer took a shit, I wasn't sure which episodes made it online and which didn't, because I produced so goddamn many of those things. Anyway, for the audience, it is good to maybe go back and check some of those out, because more of that is coming your way in the upcoming weeks, and probably within 2 months, because it's already going to have been 2 months away, less than 2 months away, like a month and a half. All right, my dear. Well, it sounds like your air conditioning is coming on, so this is a good time to say goodnight.
It was another motorcycle.
Oh. Tell Harley and Davidson to cut the shit out, because we got a show here. It was good to see you as always, my dear. We'll be back next Saturday at 10 p.m. on the West Coast, 0500 GMT, with all the... Maybe we should try and do some kind of actual food review over the interwebs thing here.
Yeah, we should try and see. Next time I go to, it seems like 7-Eleven and the Jacksons have the latest junk food before the stores get it. So I might peruse and see if there's anything new.
No, I've got it. We both have to go to In-N-Out Burger and eat an In-N-Out Burger live on the air.
Exactly. I'll drive the 10 hours south to get to California.
It is clearly something you must do. So I will expect you to have driven 20 hours continuously and have a burger on the air with me at this time next week.
Yeah.
Okay, my dear. I'm Sebastian.
I'm SaraBelle.
And thanks for watching the Fast Food Junk Food Extravaganza. Join us next Saturday, 10 p.m., Saturday night, West Coast time. 0500 on Sunday morning. Good night, everyone.
Good night.